Well, this was a long time coming. To those who know me and are aware of the ongoing situation with the YouTubers Poppy and Zena, I am one of the people that has been in their inner circle up until September 12th of 2024. You likely have seen my Twitter meltdowns or my delusional manifestos as Night Wild. I am keeping connection to that name only for when addressing my actions and when talking about the situation, as I plan to eventually move on from it. Since the beginning of October of 2023, I have been publicly involved in a harassment campaign, more so a series of which that were conducted in retaliation to allegations that my ex-friends had against them. I was also privately involved for half a year before that, making the time I was involved a year and a half. I myself was nearing 2 years in Poppy and Zena's server, the foundation, when I left on, again, September 12th of 2024. I gave a very limited explanation to Poppy and Zena, some parts being personal grievances and some being me addressing that I no longer believe their side. Of course, they did not take this well. I am going to show the screenshots of the last conversation here. Leaving was hard. Many of my closest friends were in that group, and I know I may never get to talk to any of them again. But I cannot heal, nor can I grow as a person if I stayed. The sheer extent of my involvement and the amount of time I stuck around, despite the credible allegations backed by evidence, is something I will regret for the rest of my life. However, rather than wallowing in self-pity and slinking off into the shadows, I have decided to do the right thing and own up to my faults and work to help other victims. A simple public apology would not be sufficient to counter the harm I have actively caused, nor do my private apologies to several of the people I have hurt. I need to actively change my behavior, and I need to get help for the underlying issues and conditions that propelled me to a state where I was even capable of doing the amount of egregious harm I still ultimately chose to do. I have come to realize something that deeply shook me to my core and helped me be capable of reevaluating my behavior and actions. I am beginning proper treatment and aid for what I and my therapist believe to be bipolar 1. Before talking to my therapist, I had no idea of which kind of bipolar it was that I was experiencing, as I did not understand the differences between the subtypes. My proof for this is reasonably so limited, but I do have some messages with my therapist, as well as messages to others demonstrating I was beginning to worry about the prospect of having bipolar. These examples that are probably going to be heavily redacted are going to be shown as well. I am not currently technically diagnosed. My therapist did confirm I have it, but due to the way these things work, I need to, in order to properly get the care I need, go further to a psychiatrist, have a official, proper sort of like testing and review and diagnosis. I need to be specifically diagnosed by a psychiatrist rather than an LPC due to ethics and regulations in the state I reside. This is something I am looking directly into with my current psychiatrist at the next appointment I have so I can get medicated. Doing so is the next step to getting help, and my hope is that with medication I will be far more level-headed in the aftermath than I was when I was in the inner circle of the Foundation. So much of my worst behavior was during my manic psychotic episodes. I want to do better and be better. Getting treatment is necessary in this case for me to fix myself and be a better person. Again, I want to be clear, this is not to discount the harm I have done and contributed to. Manic psychosis doesn't suddenly make doxing, death threats, suicide baiting, and harassment okay. I'm aware that blaming my mental illness and disorders would be wrong and dodging accountability. My illness contributed to my actions, but it is my responsibility to manage it and myself as a person. That was something I personally failed to do. I acted both cruelly and maliciously, and that is on me and only me. I think being open about my mental state is important in order to demonstrate just how wrong I was in all of my actions. Though I have no love or appreciations for those who have called my previous statements or documents schizo posting, as I am not schizophrenic, nor do I support the ableism in the statement. It is true that these were primarily psychotic ramblings. By the literal definition, I was experiencing psychosis while a lot of these things were going on, meaning they are incredibly detached from reality. It has taken a lot of time and work, both within my real life and through talking to others online, to understand everything and realize how many delusions and false beliefs I have held for over a year. I am still working through and processing what I myself have experienced, which I will only come forward with after getting medicated and have further healed and worked on myself. I do not believe it would be appropriate for me to come out about anything before I'm able to start, or at least have some baseline of treatment, because the risk of me experiencing another manic episode and not changing my behavior is too high, and I need to make sure that I never allow that to happen again. I am truly sorry to all people on all sides that I have hurt, especially those I have attacked in private, on Twitter, and publicly. I am sorry to the people I have written unreasonable rambling manifestos and hit pieces on. I am sorry I believe that breaking up with someone was rape, and I am sorry I labeled people as horrific things of which they are not. I no longer stand by any of my statements, whether those be documents, Twitter threads, DMs, anonymous asks on Tumblr, YouTube comments, or anywhere else. I have done irreparable harm and damage, and though I truly believed everything I said at the time, I was wrong, and I hurt so many innocent people. Whatever my reasons were for what I did, it does not justify what happened. I am sorry to Milena for sharing her legal name and dead name publicly, the slander in my document that caused harm, forcing you to deal with the brunt of my delusions, the anon messages I sent you, and the harassment on Twitter and Tumblr. I am sorry to Kira for sharing her legal name as well, for the slander I made against you, the delusions you were forced to endure, the anons I sent, the wild and unstable nature of our public and private interactions, having the first conversation with you in private, originally being overseen by Poppy and Zena and some of my other friends, and not being a truthful, genuine conversation, and the harassment on Tumblr and Twitter. I am sorry to know for sharing her intended legal name and dead name. The horrendous slander that has impacted your life severely, the harm I did to you both through any time I fucked with you through anons or harassed you in public, the delusions of my own that you were forced to face, the inclusion of you in my deranged manifesto, and the harassment on Tumblr and Twitter. I am sorry to Dormu for ever taking Poppy's side over it. The denial of its experiences of sexual harassment, the denial of its blackmailing, my support of the said blackmailing against you, my cruel and vicious nature and DMs for so unreasonably long that was also overseen by Poppy and Zena, and the harassment on Twitter and Tumblr. I'm sorry to Heloise for engaging in harassment against them, for sending horrific anons to you, for forcing my own delusions onto you, and supporting character assassination against you. I am sorry to Patchwork Heart for blowing up at him after he left, for shunning and attacking you with the others for walking away as you were fully in your right to do. I am sorry to Courtney for the deranged manifesto and hit piece that I made on them. The first public Tumblr post I made about you, siding with Poppy during the falling out, ever engaging with Poppy and Zena trying to build back a bridge with Lily Orchard when I knew damn well how evil she was, saying nothing when they first took down the video, getting your story out, hurting you and lashing out when the real abusers of me were those I was supporting, and the harassment on social media. I am sorry to Gayfesh for the engagement and harassment against him when he left, for the way I sat by and allowed things that I was told were hurtful to you to be said, and for the way I went after you and others. I am sorry to Lumi for denying her feelings and issues from the way Poppy treated you, for the way I cut you off for walking away from Poppy, and the way I harassed you publicly. None of that was okay, and nothing I say will erase that harm. I am sorry to White Nervosa for comments I have made publicly about her, for my part in a harassment campaign that was in retaliation for Poppy and Zena and Sage losing their website from blackmailing Dormu, and for sitting by as others brought up what they knew would hurt you. I am sorry to Spawn for using their chosen name publicly, the one that is used in real life, not their online handle, agreeing originally with your abusive parents, denying your experiences, starting to work on the document against you, not telling Poppy and Zena sooner that you clearly never abused them, allowing myself to be involved in a harassment campaign against you, and sitting by when Poppy and Zena threatened you with a lawsuit. I'm also sorry to others I hurt by proxy, and boosting more allegations and lies and slander from Poppy and Zena, such as Luxander, a few various YouTubers who have covered this that have gotten random allegations thrown at them, such as Stardust and goddammit Malcolm, a few others that I can think of. Some I have so far reached out to, others I may not have, such as Brit's Galaxy Brain, Amy, Sora, Mars Faye, Rithandi, honestly, any and everyone else who has been a victim and has been in any of the evidence, so on and so forth. I apologize to all of you. Nothing can defend my past actions, and I am not here to do that. They were wrong, and I was wrong. All of you deserve better, and I think the fact that there is this many people I have to apologize to is honestly a sign to just prove how bad a lot of my past actions were. I also want to apologize to others who I do not know the names of that I bullied and lashed out at on Twitter and Tumblr, especially if those were people who had to deal with me while I was manic, because I know that when looking back on it, I could get incredibly violent and aggressive, and nobody should have to deal with that. Not one of any of these various actions were okay, and the fact I did not realize how awful I was being is only a further condemnation of me and my behavior. I am working to change and better myself, but this will take time and energy. I will have to keep pushing to come out and not only disavow everything that I did and helped contribute to, but also to help people against their abusers that have been trying to ruin their lives. Poppy, Zena, you did this to yourselves. Nobody manipulated me away from you. I was talking on my own behalf, with my own ideas. I left of my own accord because I woke up to what I was doing. And by proxy, what you have done. If everyone leaves you, there is a reason. And I don't say that to say that you deserve to have everyone gone, because I do not believe that. You deserve to have friends. You deserve to be happy, and I hope you are able to have that. I just can't have that for myself if I stayed. You were driving me to be a worse and worse person, and it just was not healthy. The majority of the people around you at this point in time will consistently defend you. You have, in a sense, built a cult of personality of people you often use as shields to criticism. I am no longer your excuse. I'm not there to hide your malicious actions, and I'm not going to cover your ass. I meant it when I left. This is the end. I'm not coming back. Nothing will make me come back. I was wrong to have ever promised you that I would never leave. Because I should have known that there was something wrong, and I should have left sooner. One final note: nobody is obligated to accept my apologies, especially given how early on this is. I have yet to prove or show I have changed, because this is just the start of me doing so. I will follow up on it, and I will change. You can bet on it. I am making this statement an apology because it is what I needed to do for myself, and as a way to help, to a very small degree, mitigate the impact of the harm I have already done. I have no plans to come back broadly until I believe I am either able to be doing something genuinely good or have fixed myself to a point I feel does not make me a danger to others. I may be willing to talk to people. Anyone who knows me can reach out to my DMs on whatever platform they find me on. And anyone who doesn't necessarily know me, if somebody I know and have talked to, you end up reaching out to, I'll also let them know it's okay to pass that along. I'm not closed off to conversation. What I am closed off to until another point is me posting on my own social medias about anything of big importance, because it's just going to be unhealthy for me. It's going to work against me changing and growing as a person, and I want to make sure that nothing gets in the way of that. So, thank you for listening to my rambling. And that's about all I have to say. So, sorry this is the first video that's going to be on this channel. May or may not be the last. It's a pretty heavy topic, but again, it needed to be said. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. It means a lot that anyone would be willing to hear me out after everything that we've done, but I'm glad that this is finally getting dealt with. Have a good day.